Welcome back to the channel. In this video we're fixing the Audi TT. Look at that booty, you see that there? That's booty. So if you watched my last video, you would know that I lent this car out to a family member and it came back trashed. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you go and see it. For those who haven't seen it, the story basically goes like this. Anyway, instead of being Xerxes, I turned into Jerxes and ended up with my car a mess. So that's where we are now. So now we're here to fix the car and sort out the engine management light which it came back with. So let's go to the video and I'll show you how I did it. So since this car's been returned back to me, we're having some difficulties starting in the morning. It would crank for a long time and sometimes not start, but sometimes start. So it's a bit of a funny intermittent problem. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scan the car, see what faults are logged on it, see if there's anything that's currently an issue or been an issue in the past. So that's the first step that we're gonna do right now. So to scan your car, you're gonna need some sort of diagnostic software, be it a generic one like this one, which will work. Not as good as maybe the manufacturer's one, which is what I like to use. They call this one VAGCOM for the Volkswagen Audi Golf range. And this gives you more options, more facilities. You get to look in more things and just get more data in general. You can get away with these ones, like I said before, but it's not as good. This is the right one. This shoe fits. So yep, if you want to know where to get one of these, hit me up in Instagram. It's probably the best place to get me, and I can give you directions on where you can go. So yeah, first thing to do on this car, scan it. So let me explain what we've just done. We've scanned the computer and we've come up with an error code with the coolant temperature sensor. Now, the good thing about having software like VCDS is that you can go into the actual unit itself, whereas I'm not sure if you always have that access with the generic ones. So now we can see that it's got an error there. That's the area we're going to be pursuing. So from there, we go into the engine itself to see if there are any other codes. And then from there, we can look at the measuring blocks. This is what they basically call live data. That live data will tell us what that sensor or what that module or whatever it is you're scanning is seeing and reading at the time. So here we can clearly see it's showing 85 degrees. Now the outside temperature is 13 degrees and this car's only been on for 30 seconds. So there's no way that it can be 85 degrees on the coolant side because there's nowhere to heat it. That sort of error will cause massive problems for the ECM. So let me show you how and why it causes a problem. The engine is controlled by a computer called the ECM, Engine Control Module. This is the brain of the engine. There are sensors located all over the engine that communicate to the ECM. In the same way we have human senses that tell us when it's hot, cold, wet, dry, bright, etc., the sensors on the engine work in a similar way. The ECM relies on the sensors to communicate accurate information so that it can provide correct fueling for its environmental conditions and maintain a healthy engine. Once again, very similar to our human senses telling us what clothes, food and drink we need to stay healthy. If the sensors communicate inaccurate information, then the ECM cannot provide the correct measurements and conditions to make the engine run properly. So with the coolant sensor sending incorrect messages of 85 degrees to the ECM, when in reality it's -1 degree, the ECM will underfuel the engine according to the conditions shown by the faulty sensor, which ends up in a crank no start condition due to underfueling. It is the equivalent to underdressing in shorts, vests and flip-flops in a winter blizzard. It's totally the wrong attire for the situation. You will get sick just as your car will. This is why it's so important to have your sensors functioning correctly. There you have it. We finally resolved the engine management light on the vehicle. It was an easy fix, really simple fix to be fair. And yeah, you might as well spend the time, work it out, get it done, because then you don't have to worry about what's going on with your car. It's important to remember that when your car's running with an engine management light on, it's kind of running in a safe mode. So you won't get your correct power, the fuel distribution is terrible because it runs rich. And just general, it's just not good for it just to be in that state. So if you can resolve it, try and resolve it as soon as possible, because a car in good health is way more better than anything else. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to comment, like, rate, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. I want to see you in the next one.